And the reason that's important, the reason we need an integrated construction solution, is that when you look at reports that bodies like McKinsey produce, they do lots of research on construction, and they found that there are often very big problems on construction projects. So projects can typically take 20% longer than scheduled and be up to 80% overspent. And that's not surprising when you consider how many people are collaborating on one project, the number of different companies that are involved, and simply how many documents are created. So they found that the average large construction project has more than 2 million documents that get shared. So it's easy to see where things go wrong. And there are some big challenges in construction as well. So designs are getting more complex. Construction projects are getting more complicated, and clients are expecting more sustainability issues to be addressed. They want more transparency into the project process. So that adds a level of complexity. There are also resource limitations. So there's increasingly a lack of skilled labor that can deliver projects successfully. Construction materials are getting more expensive, so we need to be careful about how we're managing them and trying to reduce waste. And of course, construction equipment costs time and money. It's expensive. Big cranes, big excavators are expensive pieces of kit that we have to manage and maintain. And then thirdly, there's data deficiency. Construction teams are increasingly realizing that data can be really valuable on a project. Understanding payment schedules, completion schedules, understanding BIM data can really give insights into the project and add value. But there's lots of data. It's often hard to get to grips with it. And a company called FMI did some research last year, and they found that in engineering and construction projects, 96% of all data goes unused. So that's all the photographs and tweets and WhatsApp messages, superseded drawings and outdated reports. Most of it's never used. 90% of data is unstructured, and nearly a third of companies use apps that just don't integrate with each other. And they also found that 13% of all working hours are spent simply looking for information on a construction project. So what that means is we're using less than 5% of the data that's available, but we're still spending more than half a day every week just trying to find it before we do anything with it. So that creates some real challenges. Now, also in construction, we're seeing a lot of innovation around robotics, new technologies that are coming in and being used on site. You might have seen the Boston Dynamics Spot dog that's now being used on construction sites and being tested. So there's some good technology out there, but this creates more data that we have to manage, and it also creates more complexity when it comes to actually working with these components out in the field. Now, traditionally in construction, we're very conservative. We tend to try things for a long while, and then we make small jumps in technology. We don't really advance things very quickly. We tend to be very, very slow at adopting. But increasingly, it's easy to go and buy an iPad app or to develop something in-house. So we can try new bits of technology very quickly. And that means now increasingly, construction companies can be much more agile in trying technology. And that's one of the areas where SYNCHRO adds real value, because SYNCHRO is a modular solution. You can use parts of it on some projects, you can use all of it, or you can use single components to add value to what you're doing on your projects. Now, there's lots of different technology that could be used, but SYNCHRO at its heart supports a 4D model-based planning approach. And there's an example here on the screen. I've used a case study from the US recently, where Ryan companies said that for every 8 months of construction time, they're saving 4 weeks off the schedule. So that's a huge reduction in time because construction sites are expensive to maintain. And on one project in the UK recently I supported, the construction team said it cost them £250,000 a week to be on site. So they said if they can save 4 weeks, that's £1 million saving just by finishing earlier. So these can add real value. And of course, there's lots of different technology that can be used on a project. We have surveying, there's engineering, there's construction applications. So things like next generation BIM. So there's some really clever, powerful BIM technologies out there that you'll see later in today's session. So whether you're designing buildings or roads, above ground, below ground, all this technology and application can be used to add value to what you're doing. But of course, we need to manage that and track it securely. And we have the cloud connected data environment in the center of the screen. And that's really where SYNCHRO plays a key part. It acts as the hub for your project data and helps to coordinate the information coming from these different technologies on a project.